Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Bob DiMaria. Are you suffering with chronic sinus, skin problems, headaches, rash, bloating, etc., etc., etc.? So many times I had people say to me, Dr. Bob, I ate something and my belly just blew up. So let me just kind of define this a little bit. If you eat some food and you have immediate digestive challenges, it could mean that you need a digestive enzyme. If you eat some food and you have bloating an hour or two later, it could be liver gallbladder. But let's say that you eat something and you kind of notice that you have bloating. So I have patients both in the Ohio office and the Florida office that are impacted in so many different ways. I'll have individuals that'll come in and you can tell by looking at them, they're full of fluid. They know they're full of fluid. So you could have fluid in your body because your kidneys are not working as good as they could, or your heart's not working as good as it could. But very few people realize they could have a food sensitivity. This is not food allergy, because a lot of people get this confused. Well, I had one lady that was a practice member of mine in Florida, and she was upset with me because broccoli caused her problems in her mind, but it didn't show up in the fit test. Well, there's different reasons that you could have digestive distress. And the purpose of this conversation is not to go to every detail, but there's something called a lectin. A lectin happens to be a legume. You may have a sensitivity to legumes. So just because you don't have a product that shows up on here and that might give you an Italian, we call it agita, there are many reasons. So like broccoli, unless you sometimes steam it, it might be difficult for you to digest. But let's go back to the fit test itself. We have two layers of this test. We have a test that'll check 132 foods. Very simple, little lancet of your ring finger, put it on a little blotter. We send it to a lab in Massachusetts. They're gonna share with us if you choose the 132 food, or the 176 foods, what your body is sensitive to in layers. It's gonna be severe, mild, and moderate. So depending on where you're at, you're gonna want to avoid those foods. There's something called cross-reactivity. So example, let's say you're sensitive to eggs and egg whites. You'd be wise to probably minimize or eliminate chicken because eggs create chicken and chicken create eggs. So it's called cross-reactivity. We see many people have issues with wheat, gluten, gliadin. Those are all part of the wheat family. We have individuals who have issues with cow's milk, dairy, whey, casein. Those are a part of the dairy family. So if you're having chronic distress, so I have a little boy, he's 2 years old, in my Florida office. He had the skin reaction his whole life, been everywhere. You know how the story goes because a lot of you were on that merry-go-round yourself. So the mom, imagine a 2-year-old boy, he was a little hero. I pricked his finger, sent it to the lab, came back. He had sensitivity to citrus, tangerine, grapefruit, oranges, lemons, all of them. And his mom was astonished because guess what she gave the kid? That kind of stuff. So we backed off of those items. I put him on a special antidote to help minimize the reaction, and his skin and his body improved. So let me talk to you a little bit about why you get food sensitivities. You can get food sensitivities because you might be eating too much sugar. You don't feel good because I already shared with you in other videos, sugar compromises your immune system. You go to your well-meaning physician and he gives you an antibiotic, whatever the kind of antibiotic it is. Well, antibiotic means anti-biology. It kills everything. Then you're going to have a proliferation of either yeast in your gut, or you're going to have a breakdown with a leaky gut syndrome. So well-meaning food can go through your intestine. Your body could see it as a foreign invader. That starts this whole process. Or maybe you have a pet at home. We have seen individuals who have cats. People who have cats tend to have more parasites than non-cat individuals. Well, parasites eat food and then they defecate inside of you, literally causes inflammation in your gut. Or maybe you've been to a third world country. We have patients, practice members that are missionaries, that they go to various parts of the world. Unless you're really, really careful, you can get a challenge. So this test checks for IgA and IgG, delayed food sensitivity. So there's also another portion of this called the gut barrier. There are 8 boxes. The top two boxes are candida, that's yeast. Right below that, there's another one called zonulin. Zonulin is where the membranes in your intestines start to separate. The third is occludin. That's where the membranes in your intestine are broken apart. And the bottom one is LPS, lipopolysaccharide, which is a part of gram-negative bacteria in your intestine. You say, that's a lot of stuff. Well, I had one individual that had 7 of those 8 boxes were red. And if she did not make some wise choices, her body was going to rapidly degenerate. So kind of a rough rule of thumb, if you have 2 boxes, 2 red boxes, we may suggest NutriClear Free and GI Resolve. If you have 2 or more boxes that are red and you filled out a wellness survey and you scored in different ranges, you may have to really bite the bullet and go on a Trust Your Gut program for either 75 or 135 days. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have patients who have very debilitating health conditions, and it's all gut related. You could have a low thyroid because of your gut. So what we're trying to do here, and this kit has changed the way we approach looking at people, because it really helps us show you what foods you may be eating that are a part of your inflammation. So the bad news is if you have inflammation in your body, you could have heart, brain, Alzheimer's, peripheral neuropathy. If you get rid of the inflammation, you're going to be strong like bull, and you're going to have energy, you're going to sleep good, you're going to be pleasant to be around. And that's our whole goal of being here, is just to give you information, give you the availability to have some testing done, sit down with one of the doctors, come up with a plan, and you're going to be so happy. We've had people lose 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. Totally has changed their lives. So join the wagon train, do some testing, and you'll be happy. And I know your body will say, it will be glad you did.